Fellow gardeners, what if I told you there's a centuries-old secret that could transform your garden from a seasonal producer into a year-round abundance machine? Today, we're diving deep into a Korean agricultural technique that's about to revolutionize how you think about plant productivity. This isn't just another gardening tip, it's a complete paradigm shift that will have your neighbors wondering how your tomatoes are still flourishing while theirs are calling it quits. Right now, your garden is fighting a battle you probably don't even realize is happening. Every experienced gardener has felt that crushing disappointment when their once thriving cucumber vines suddenly slow down, when their pepper plants seem to lose steam mid-season, or when their tomato plants start focusing all their energy on ripening existing fruit instead of producing new flowers. This isn't plant laziness, it's a deeply ingrained survival mechanism that's been sabotaging your harvest potential for years. Most gardeners accept this seasonal decline as natural, watching helplessly as their productive plants shift from growth mode to what I call retirement mode. Your plants are essentially making an executive decision that they've done enough work for the year, triggered by subtle environmental cues and internal biological clocks. The conventional wisdom tells us this is normal, that we should be grateful for what we got and start planning for next year. But what if everything we've been taught about plant life cycles is only half the story? The real tragedy isn't just the lost produce, it's the wasted potential sitting dormant in every plant in your garden. Each of those seemingly tired plants contains the genetic blueprint for continuous production, but something in our modern gardening approach is sending them the wrong signals. We're unknowingly training our plants to quit early, and it's time to break this cycle. In the mountainous regions of traditional Korea, farmers developed an intricate understanding of plant psychology that goes far beyond simple nutrition and watering. These agricultural masters observed that plants, much like people, respond not just to what they receive, but to how they're treated and the expectations placed upon them. Korean farmers discovered that plants could be coaxed into what they called perpetual service, a state where the plant maintains juvenile vigor and productivity well beyond its natural inclination to slow down. The Korean approach centers around a concept they called plant deception, where farmers use specific techniques to essentially trick plants into believing they're still in their peak growing season. This isn't about forcing plants through artificial means, but rather about maintaining the environmental and psychological conditions that keep plants in their most productive state. Traditional Korean farmers understood that plants make decisions based on perceived stress levels, resource availability, and social cues from their plant community. What makes this approach revolutionary is its focus on plant behavior modification, rather than just plant feeding. While Western gardening often treats plants as passive recipients of care, Korean techniques recognize plants as responsive organisms that can be influenced through subtle environmental manipulation. These farmers discovered that certain combinations of pruning timing, harvest patterns, and companion planting could essentially reset a plant's biological clock, keeping it locked in peak production mode for months longer than nature typically allows. So the heart of this Korean method really lies in understanding what triggers a plant's decision to stop producing. You see, most fruiting plants have this internal switch that gets flipped when they sense they've successfully reproduced enough to ensure their species' survival. The Korean technique, well, it involves carefully managing this switch through strategic intervention at crucial moments in the plant's life cycle. The first principle involves what Korean farmers call harvest deception. Instead of allowing plants to fully ripen large quantities of fruit all at once, you harvest fruits at specific stages of development, which creates the illusion that the plant's reproductive mission isn't complete. For tomatoes, for example, this means picking fruits when they first show color rather than waiting for full ripeness, because that signals to the plant that its reproduction efforts aren't successful yet. This simple timing shift, honestly, can extend production by weeks or even months. The second crucial element is companion planting with specific Korean herbs and vegetables that emit chemical signals encouraging continued flowering. Plants like Korean mint and certain varieties of Asian greens release compounds that basically tell neighboring plants that growing conditions are still optimal. These companion plants act as botanical cheerleaders, constantly encouraging your fruiting plants to keep producing. The technique also incorporates selective stress application, brief periods of controlled water restriction followed by generous watering that mimics the natural rainfall patterns of Korean growing regions. This creates a cycle that keeps plants slightly on edge, never quite comfortable enough to settle into dormancy, but never stressed enough to shut down production. The timing of these stress cycles corresponds with traditional Korean lunar calendar observations, adding another layer of sophistication to the approach. When properly implemented, this Korean method creates visually stunning transformations that seem almost magical to conventional gardeners. Imagine walking through your garden in late September and seeing cucumber vines still producing tender young fruits while your neighbor's plants turned brown weeks ago. Picture pepper plants laden with flowers and fruits in 3 different stages of development, creating a continuous harvest cycle that extends well into fall. The visual impact goes beyond just extended production. Plants treated with Korean techniques often display enhanced vitality that's immediately apparent. Leaves maintain their deep green color longer, stems remain sturdy and upright, and the overall plant architecture stays compact and manageable rather than becoming leggy and exhausted looking. This enhanced vigor translates directly into improved fruit quality, with many gardeners reporting that late-season fruits from Korean method plants often taste superior to early-season production from conventional plants. Perhaps most remarkably, plants grown using these techniques seem to develop increased resistance to common late-season problems like fungal diseases and pest pressure. This resilience appears to stem from the plant's maintained juvenile vigor. Essentially, plants that think they're still young act young, maintaining the robust immune systems and growth patterns associated with peak health. The beauty of this Korean approach lies not in its complexity, but honestly, in its elegant simplicity once you understand the underlying principles. You're not adding expensive inputs or complicated equipment to your garden. You're simply changing your timing and approach to work with your plant's natural psychology rather than against it. This makes the technique accessible to gardeners at any experience level and really adaptable to virtually any climate or growing situation. As we head deeper into the growing season, implementing these Korean techniques now will set you up for harvest abundance that continues long after conventional gardens have wound down. Your garden can become that neighborhood legend, the one that's still producing fresh tomatoes for Thanksgiving dinner while everyone else is ordering from the grocery store. This isn't just about extending this year's harvest. It's about fundamentally changing your relationship with your garden and unlocking potential you never knew existed. The ripple effects extend far beyond your immediate harvest. Gardens managed with Korean techniques often show improved soil health over time, as the extended growing season means longer periods of active root development and organic matter production. Your plants become more efficient nutrient cyclers, creating a self-improving system that gets better each year, rather than requiring increased inputs to maintain productivity. Don't let another growing season slip away with plants that quit early. Your garden is capable of so much more than you've been led to believe, and these time-tested Korean techniques are your key to unlocking that potential. The ancestors knew something we forgot, and it's time to remember. Ready to transform your garden into a year-round abundance machine? Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss our latest growing secrets. Share this video with fellow gardeners who are ready to break free from conventional limitations. Together, we're building a community of gardeners who refuse to accept normal when extraordinary is possible. Drop a comment below sharing your biggest garden productivity challenge, and let's solve it together using these ancient Korean principles. Your ever-fruiting future starts now.